Pinellas Sheriff's Sergeant resigned in wake of sexual misconduct claims. Largo. The relationships between former Pinellas County Sheriff Sergeant Michael Gibson and the young deputies he helped train started out professional. They yielded to casual friendships, some text messages here and chatter at work there. Then, he crossed a line, according to an internal investigation. The recently released report shows that Gibson, a 14-year veteran of the agency, was accused of sexually harassing 2 female deputies and engaged in inappropriate relationships with 2 more while he was married. Gibson, 36, met 3 of the women while teaching at the St. Petersburg College Corrections Academy and made advances on the 4th while he was one of her instructors in the Pinellas County Jail's Corrections Response Team Academy, according to the report. He resigned in March, before the conclusion of the investigation, which resulted in disciplinary action for the 2 deputies who said they had personal relationships with him, Jordan Bennett and Ashley Chilton. The case was one of a rash of investigations into sexual misconduct that led Sheriff Bob Gualtieri to send out an agency-wide email in November imploring employees to adhere to a long-standing policy against residing with, dating or entering into any intimate relationship with married employees. There were at least 9 investigations into the policy within the agency since the beginning of last year, all of them involving at least 1 jail employee and some involving more than 2 people. This rule exists for many reasons, not the least of which is that this conduct is disruptive to the workplace, Gualtieri wrote. The policy, which was put in place in 2005 by Sheriff Jim Coates, can also unearth advances that become harassment, such as in Gibson's case, Gualtieri said in an interview. This is one of the most significant reasons why employers who have adopted these rules have them in place, the sheriff said, because it leads to allegations that are the type that occurred in this case where it's unwanted. In an interview with the Tampa Bay Times, Gibson admitted to relationships with Bennett and Chilton but said he and his wife were sleeping in separate rooms and discussing divorce at the time. He denied sexually harassing the other 2 women, calling the allegations absolutely fabricated. The investigation started when the sheriff's office received an anonymous letter February 1 saying Gibson was using his position as an instructor at the academy to lure young women into engaging in inappropriate behavior, according to the 687-page investigative file. Investigators conducted initial interviews and learned there were potential victims of harassment, Gualtieri said. He placed Gibson on paid administrative leave on February 7. Investigators interviewed 2 female deputies who said they dealt with unwanted advances from Gibson. The Times is not identifying them because of the nature of the allegations and because they were not found to have done anything inappropriate. One deputy said the first attempt came in December 2015, when Gibson was her instructor in the academy for the agency's corrections response team, a tactical response team. While she was asking for his help filling out a form, she said Gibson tried to kiss her neck. She rolled her chair away from him and told him this can't happen, she said. Later, in another incident at the shooting range during a training exercise, she told investigators he grabbed her buttocks. She became uncomfortable around him, making up excuses when he'd call her to ask if she wanted to work overtime shifts. So would you say that you try to avoid him? An investigator asked. Yeah, I could say that, she said. The other deputy met Gibson in 2012 in the Corrections Academy. He started sending her flirtatious texts about 2 years ago that she said were not reciprocated by her. She told him twice to stop the flirting, but said he continued, including while he was one of her supervisors at the jail, the report said. He tried to portray it as, "Oh, I was just joking" type of thing, she said in her interview, when I knew better. The investigation also included interviews with the women who admitted engaging in intimate relations with Gibson. Both started similarly, they met Gibson while he was their instructor at the Corrections Academy. The relationship stayed professional during that time, then grew into friendships. In Bennett's case, she hung out with Gibson a few times outside of work and learned he was having issues with his wife. The relationship turned sexual in August when she invited him to her house. They ended it in December. Bennett, 26, received a written reprimand. Chilton's relationship consisted of sexual messages and photos back and forth. They never had sex, but Chilton, who was also married, said they met 2 times in which Gibson initiated physical contact. Once, when they were both on duty, he grabbed her buttocks in a sheriff's office locker room, she said. Another time while off duty they kissed and fondled each other on a side road by the agency's forensics building. Administrators gave Chilton, 29, a 24-hour suspension. Rita Farlow, a spokeswoman for St. Petersburg College, said administrators never received any complaints about Gibson, who was a part-time instructor from October 2011 through January. She said he is no longer eligible to work as an instructor at the academy since he has left the sheriff's office. Gibson said his relationship with Chilton was never physical. He said the investigation into the sexual harassment allegations was incomplete because it did not include an interview with a witness of one of the incidents. He added that he was intimidated into resigning, which Gualtieri said wasn't true. Gibson also pointed out that because he resigned before the conclusion of the investigation, he was never interviewed by investigators and thus no ruling was made on his conduct. But Gualtieri said the women were credible. "There's no doubt in my mind that what they alleged happened," he said. "When everybody else is wrong, and everybody else has wronged you, you need to look in the mirror." Times senior researcher Karen Baird contributed to this report. Contact Catherine Varn at 727-893-8913 or kvarn@tampabay.com. Follow at Catherine Varn. Pinellas Sheriff's Sergeant resigned in wake of sexual misconduct claims July 14, 17 last modified, Thursday, July 13, 2017, 9:06 p.m. Photo reprints. Article reprints.
Well, the sheriff told me tonight, guys, that this jailhouse supervisor not only allowed this behavior, but
right here, deputies arm wrestling and just horsing around while on the job.
ABC Action News reporter Ryan Smith alive tonight with the actions that cost a jail supervisor his job. Ryan?
Well, the sheriff told me tonight, guys, that this jailhouse supervisor not only allowed this behavior, but even egged it on. And take a look. Videos and pictures tell the story. Take a look what we have right here. One deputy puts another in a serious chokehold, all while on duty. The overnight antics of several detention deputies now at the center of a PCSO internal investigation.
It was appalling, and very disappointed.
The sheriff says Supervisor Scott Nichols should not have let deputies waste time playing games.
I'm out.
In one video, a deputy places another in a chokehold as co-workers cheer.
Just tell me the one and I'll let you go.
I know it's a tie. Keep going.
Jail staff also caught sleeping on duty.
The sleeping is a big deal. They shouldn't be sleeping. They're getting paid to do a job. They need to do the job.
The sheriff fired Nichols last week, and now several other deputies face lengthy suspensions for what PCSO found in videos and photos stored on Nichols' phone.
What's your message to taxpayers?
We hold the people accountable, and I think my message to them is that we are policing our own.
The sheriff says Internal Affairs discovered the horseplay during a separate investigation as they reviewed charges that Nichols had affairs with 2 married deputies. And those other 2 married deputies also facing suspensions tonight for their roles in those extramarital affairs. Now, we did try reaching out to Nichols tonight by stopping by his house, but they had no comment. Live in Pinellas County, Ryan Smith, ABC Action News.
Hey, Sheriff, we have a question about why your office, your intelligence division, is investigating private citizens for criminal investigation that happen to be activists that are overseeing your department. Why would you have your intelligence division investigate private citizens? We have done...
For life hating so much.
Sir, we don't hate anyone. We love freedom and we love American people. And government is out of control. That's why you're seeing such a revolt nationwide. Why can't you just answer, why is Susan Edwards, your intelligence division, investigating private citizens? This should not happen.
Are you here to apply for a job?
Possibly I might be applying for a job, but that's irrelevant to my question. Why would you ask that question?
Well, enjoy the fair.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Excuse me, sir.
So those of you that haven't
Wow.
been on a bike before, we're
Sheriff's
just
getting a little too pushy. You work for us, Sheriff. Just keep that in mind. At one time we respected you, but not with that type of attitude.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea, too, that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.